Good afternoon or morning or evening class. I hope you're having a jolly day. Today we are going to play with some type of a band or a rope or whatever you have around. So I have some examples for you. This is a resistance band and a lot of times you use these in physical therapy, and they're stretchy and you can pull them apart. They're like a big floppy latexy kind of a material. The other thing I have here, so this is a resistance loop. So they come in a little circle type of a thing, but they also can be pulled apart and are really stretchy, and they come in different colors. These ones, both of these kind of things you can order on Amazon and get like a pack of 3 for $7 or $8. So they're really awesome and worth having around the house. I showed you last week in the pull-up workout where I had this big, thick resistance band. So they're really big and beefy, and they're harder to pull apart. And so you can hang them on your pull-up bar, but you can also do all sorts of resistance training exercises, and they come in different thicknesses as well. So like here's a thinner one, but still it's a real big, thick loop or band. Now you might not have that, but maybe you have a resistance strap or rope. It has these handles on it, little loops, and it's, again, stretchy material. They come in different thicknesses and sizes. But maybe you don't have something like that, but you have a yoga strap around. Yoga strap, you won't be able to do the pull things and stretch them apart, but you can still do isometric holds with a yoga strap. Or maybe you or your kids did some karate and you have a karate belt laying around and you can use that, or a jump rope or anything else. So some type of a strap or stretchy thing is what we're looking for today. So depending on which type of strap or stretchy thing that you have will depend on which kind of exercises you can do. So first, before we play with our little magical straps, we're going to do some warming up, and let's play with some kickboxing moves today for our warming up. I want you to set your phone alarm, and I want you to do these moves for 30 to 45 seconds. Rotate through each one of them and then repeat it at least a second time, so that way all your joints are all magical and warmed up at this point. So the first one I want you to do is a shuffle forward and back. So I'm going to have my weight evenly distributed between a front and back leg, and then I'm going to start rocking and shifting. I'm hopping from one leg to the other leg and bouncing back and forth. So just shifting back and forth. Now with this, because it's just boring to do by itself, we're going to throw a little jab. So the front arm is coming out at the same time that front leg is touching down to the ground. And it doesn't have to be anything awesome and professional and vicious, but this will start getting your heart rate up. During that 30 to 45 second interval, I'd love you to throw in a little switch and get that other fist pumping as well. So you'll just be alternating back and forth, pumping, jabbing, getting that heart rate up. All right, so that is your first move that you're going to be doing for 30 to 45 seconds. So your next move is going to be a jab cross. So you're going to throw the front fist and then the back. So front and back and front and back, jab and cross, right? And we're gonna slightly, so this is kind of slightly starting to warm up the spine as that back fist comes out. We're twisting forward and facing forward, so I'm kind of facing side, facing forward, side, forward. And I'm still kind of shifting my weight a little bit back and forth in my legs just to start warming up those hips. So you can, once you feel that you've got the rhythm with it, you can speed this up a bit. The same thing, you might throw in some switches in that 30 to 45 second range. Front, back, really twisting and waking up those hips. All right, so the next one that we're going to do is just the magical air speed bag. So we're going to lean over to the side and imagine that we're hitting the speed bag repetitively in the circular type of motion. And then we're going to switch to the other side. And as soon as your arm's feeling comfortable with that motion, I'd like you to do it with a jog. So ultimately be jogging with it, punching with it, reversing directions back and forth, switching one way, switching the other way. And then after that 30 to 45 seconds, we're going to do a double speed bag. And this one I'd like you to bring it high, medium, low. And it's kind of fun because if you talk into your hands while you're doing this, it's the same effect as the fan. How you hear your voice kind of echo and distort and do funny things. All right. So then we're going to do just a little bit of light kicking. So we're going to bend our knee, extend our leg, bend our knee, extend our leg, bend the knee, extend the leg, bend the knee, extend the leg. And then we're going to actually speed this up. Bend the knee, extend the leg, bend the knee, extend the leg. So this one we're going to be doing for 30 to 45 seconds. Or if that's too intense for you for a warm-up, you're just staying right here. All right. Then we're going to throw in a nice little back kick. So one leg is going to be in front of the other. The behind or the back leg is going to be picked up with the knee bent. Extend the foot, set it back down. Pick it up, set it back down. Pick it up, extend back down. And so this one I more want you to kind of think of balance, because it still is activating all the hip muscles and get all the blood flowing, but you don't have to go super fast. Again, switch feet somewhere in there. Extend and kick, extend and kick, extend and kick. Good. So just do those couple short moves. Do them for about 30 to 45 seconds. Do each one of them and then rotate and go through them again, or add some variety or version to it if you want to throw in a jumping jack or a high knee or something else in there. Just about 5 minutes will get the blood flow juicing and going. So after that, then moving into playing with your toys. Ta-da. So lots of options what you might want to do with what toys you might have. So the first exercise we're going to do is a squat. We're going to start with the squat, because we always want to work with big muscle groups and work our way to small muscle groups when we're working out. So say you have one of these magical nifty types of things. So you're going to be putting the sucker underneath your feet, and depending on how much stretch there is to it, you may be holding it at your side like this. You may be holding it here. Say you have a band but it doesn't have handles, you can reach and hold down lower in this position. But the idea is that you want it to feel really, really tight. So tight is that it's like you couldn't even pull it up anymore once you're standing here. So once you know that you've, and let's see, I'll pull another toy here. So say I've got this type of a gizmo here, right underneath my feet. I'm pulling it, I've got it nice and really, really, really tight. So that's my good starting position there. So, I know I've picked a good toy to use. I'm going to start by bending and putting my weight into my heels and squatting back. Now you notice how I got some slack here? What I need to do now is I need to grab lower, all right? So I've grabbed even lower here, so there's already tension when I'm down in the squat position, and then I'm going to be standing up with it. So you're going to notice this is kind of getting the entire body, not just the legs. So down, and again, there shouldn't be any bagginess like in the part that's being pulled once we get down to this point. It should feel really, really taut and tight. So maybe I'm using this type of a thing again, right? See down here, I put that weight in my heels and I reach down. Sometimes it might be even like, because it's so stretchy, down to all the way down to your feet, and then stand up with it. Sometimes your band is so floppy and loose, you might have to fold it in half, put it underneath your feet, right? Get those hands nice low down there, and then use that for your squatting motion. Now, if you have a yoga strap or something else that doesn't stretch because you just don't have a stretchy toy at home, then you can still do it, but what you're going to have to do is do isometric holds instead. So let's grab the karate belt here. So I'm going to have to put my weight into my heels, squat on down. I'm going to grab it, and well, what's going to happen is this is not going to stretch. This belt's not going to go anywhere, but I am going to be trying to intentionally go somewhere. I'm going to be trying to come back up out of my squat, and I'm going to do, remember, like we said, you know, 6 to 20 second count holds, right? Hold, 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 hold. Then I'll come up a little bit higher in my squat, and then I'll pull apart, hold, 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 come up a little bit higher, pull apart. So you can do isometric holds with all of these movements if you don't have something that's a stretchy strap. So if you're doing isometric holds, pick, you know, maybe 4 to 5 different areas you're doing those isometric holds at, or maybe like I said, some of you guys, if you want to do a full minute isometric hold, you can, but probably if you're doing 4 to 6 of them, 20 seconds for each angle will be just fine. And if you're doing something with the bands, then I would like you to do those squats anywhere from, I mean, ideally 8 to 15 times, but if for some reason you don't have a band that's capable of resisting that much against you, if you're doing 25 times, that's perfectly fine. But like I said, you can always double these things up too if you have them, so that way you're getting more tug and pull out of the exercise while you're doing it. As you're coming up out of the exercise too, you exhale and inhale as you come back down. Okay, so that's our wonderful squat. So you're gonna do those bad boys. So we can also throw in a wonderful lunge, and there's lots of variety of, depending on what you have, what kind of lunges that you can do with it. So you're gonna have to try and be clever and creative. So I'm gonna have this underneath one of my feet, the other foot's kind of back at a diagonal. I'm gonna reach on down, get some tension on it. Might even fold this one in half though. Get some tension on it, right? So I wanna be going down into both knees bent, chest is up, and my back knee is not touching the ground. I'm gonna reach down as far as I can to get some tension on that, and then I'm gonna straighten and come up. Down, exhale, straighten and come up. Down, exhale, straighten and come up. Now if this was a karate belt or a yoga strap, it's not gonna pull, right? But I'm gonna do a hold here, right? Maybe I need to do a nice pulling, 20-second hold, and then I come up and slide my hands a little further and then do a 20-second hold, come a little higher, do a 20-second hold. You wanna make sure that you're doing both legs as well. So again, you're going for hopefully 8 to 15 repetitions if you have something stretchy and you can do it that way. Or even if it's not stretchy, right? So if it's our belt or a yoga strap and it's not stretchy, we still can grip, because you guys are working grip strength, right? So if we're squeezing really tight and working grip strength, we can still let that material slowly slide out of our hands, right? Still providing tension. So the material is not changing in length, but we're letting it slide through our hands. Now we're gonna have to reach down and grab again if we do it that way. Let it slide through our hands, reach down and grab, let it slide through our hands, but we can still provide tension that way as well. And particularly if you're trying to work on grip strength, that's a cool way of doing it. So make sure you lunge on both legs as well, and try some other fun varieties if you want. See how you can concoct and put things together. Okay, so then let's go on up to our upper body for a few. Let that lower body do its magic. And we're gonna do a lat pull down. So depending again what material you happen to have. So we're gonna have our arms up in the air, and we're gonna have our elbows slightly bent. Now notice that my hands are in front of me, not right over my head. So it's kind of like you're riding a roller coaster ride. You don't ever put your hands all the way above your head. You have them shifted slightly in front of you. So we're going to be pulling apart. So the idea is that I'm using my latissimus dorsi muscles, and I'm using my rhomboids, a lot of other muscles as we're pulling apart. Now ideally as we're pulling apart, I'm letting this slip through my hands here, pulling apart and bringing it down to my chest. I'll have to regrip, pull apart, bring it down to the chest, right? So this is not a stretchy band at all, and I can still make this work. Or I can be doing isometric holds, right? Hold, 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 I'm pulling apart, hold, 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 maybe an angle here, hold, 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 pull apart. If I have something that's a magical stretchy toy, makes it even more fun. And I put my hands closer together, the more tension that I want, the less tension, further apart, or I don't double it up. But I've got them over my head, elbows are slightly bent, and I'm gonna be pulling, pulling, pulling apart, bring it down to my chest. So I might need to, with it doubled up, bring it up further. So pull apart, down to my chest, all right? Breathe out, breathe in. All right, so happy lat pull down. It's working deltoids, rhomboids, all sorts of other magical things as well at the same time. Cool, so then we're gonna go, and again, 8 to 15 reps. So you're looking to hold it at a place that's so difficult, you can't do more than 15 of them, but easy enough that you can complete 8 of them with good form and success. And if your toys don't allow it, go up to 25 repetitions, because at least you're still working on muscular endurance and you're pushing yourself more towards fatigue if that's the only equipment you happen to have around. All right, so then we're gonna do a chest press. I'm gonna tuck this underneath my armpits or my karate belt or my yoga strap or whatever you have. And I'm gonna give a nice grip on it. I like to have my pinkies at the end and thumbs on the inside, but you can also do thumbs outside, pinkies inside. Whatever feels more comfortable on your wrist will work just fine. The idea here is that we're having nice soft knees. We're going to be pressing out in front of us, straight out in front and back in. So if I did it this way, straight out in front and back in. All right, so it's kind of like you're mimicking a push-up type of position, but it's pressing straight out in front of your body. All right, or if I gripped it this way, straight out in front of your body. And if I don't have enough tension, I reach to further back into my armpits to grab it so that I have more tension as I'm pressing out on it. Again, you don't have a stretchy material, then let's grab the yoga strap this time. Whatever you do happen to have, you can use it. All right. So it's underneath my armpits. Get it really close to my armpits. I'm pushing, right? Pushing, pushing, pushing. Now this could be isometric hold. 20 seconds here, maybe 20 seconds here, 20 seconds here. You know, you got the idea through the full range of motion. Or if I'm working that grip strength and building up my calluses again for aerial, I'm going to be pressing and letting it slide through my hands as I press. All right? And this is just going to depend on how good your grip strength is with the material. If you can make it so that it's so hard you can't do more than 15 reps. All right? So that is your chest press. So then we're going to do a bent over row. So going back to the back, so like back chest, back chest. Say we're using our yoga strap here. I'm going to stick my booty out. I'm going to bend at my knees, and I'm going to bring my stomach and chest down towards my thighs. I'm going to reach nice and low to my feet. I'm more leaned over than I was like for the squat, and my feet are closer together now. And I'm just going to be, I'll show this kind of just without a lot of tension. I'm just going to be letting my elbows glide at my side, coming up and coming back down. So my elbows are gliding at my side, squeezing my shoulder blades together, trying not to let my my shoulders come up into my neck, keeping them back and down, and sliding up. So sliding up at my side. Now, if you have a stretchy material, that's even more fun, because probably what you're noticing is you're going to miss out on some of the eccentric motion if you're not doing an isometric contraction with the yoga strap and you don't have a stretchy thing like this. Because on my way back down, right, I still have tension all the way back down. So that is the benefit of having a stretchy strap. Or, like I said, do isometric holds, and that'll still work really good. But if you're just kind of re-gripping every time, you do lose a little bit. But the cool part is you do gain some of the grip strength stuff. So that's your bent over row. Then we're going to go and do some deltoid raises. Now there's a variety of different types of deltoid raises you can do, and I'd like you to experiment with which ones you like, or throw in a couple different ones. So I'm going to grab this magical stretchy toy, for example, a little bend in my knees, and I'm going to be lifting just to shoulder height straight out in front of me. So this is a front raise, so it's coming straight out to shoulder height. It may look a little higher to you on the video there, but because of the angle, but it's just coming to my shoulder height and then back down. I'm going to breathe out and breathe in, and breathe out and breathe in. So this is working front deltoids. Now if we want to work the side, we're not going to come out exactly on the side, just kind of like our roller coaster ride. It's a little bit of the angle to the front, so not right out to the side, but a little bit of the angle. Elbows are slightly bent, and I'm going to bring them out to the side. You want to try and keep your wrists straight, and don't let them do this too, especially if you're grabbing a handle. This also works on your aerial skills so that your wrists stay nice and strong. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. All right. So say you have something that's not really long enough that you can pull it apart in two places there. Maybe you just got this short little teeny strap of sorts or something. It doesn't go very far. You can always put it under one foot, or even double it up if you need the extra tension. That's why it's shorter. And then do your raises out to the side. Do your raises to the front. So it doesn't have to be both arms at the same time. Depending on what material you have, you can make it work one way or the other. Hey, baby. All right, so then let's see. Oh, an overhead press. If you happen to have a material that is long enough to let you do an overhead press, hi, baby, then you can use that. So this is just another shoulder exercise too. And what I suggest too is do multiple sets of these. So if you're doing 8 to 15 reps, take either a little rest and then do another set of them, or jump to another exercise, do maybe all the exercises and come back and do a second set of them. So I'm going to show you another shoulder one, but I do want you to be cautious of how many shoulder exercises that you do, depending on how much shoulder exercise you already do, because you can anger the shoulders sometimes by doing too much. So I'm going to give you some variety. You already saw the front and lateral raises. Maybe you want to try an overhead press instead. Or if you add it on as well, just make sure you've taken a rest or done another exercise before you jump right into another shoulder exercise. So with this one, I've got my knees slightly bent, or I can come more down into a squat type of position, and I'm going to be pressing up and together. So this is working the shoulders. This is an overhead press. Those of you who have shoulder injuries, I would not do this. Anything over your head kind of aggravates shoulder injuries, and you're better off doing the raises. But if you don't have any shoulder injuries and you want to give it a go, then you absolutely can. So again, we're pressing up and forward. We're not pressing up and straight over our head. So up and forward and down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. So that's a nice overhead raise. And if your material, say, happens to be shorter and you can't get it underneath your feet, then you can always tuck it underneath your armpits. And so I like to do the thumb and grip here on this one. Tuck it in my armpits and then press up and back down and press up and back down. And you know, it's going to depend on your material. You might have to really reach into your armpits there to get some tension on it. Press up and down. All right, and again, I'm pressing up and forward and not straight over my head. Okay, sweet. So how about some nice chest fly? We did a chest press where our arms came straight out in front, and we can do a fly. So let's play with our little short material that we have here. With our chest fly, we still want a lot of tension. Get a lot of tension on your band. Bring your arms straight out in front of you to start. And you're gonna let them open out to the side. So they're out in front with a little bend in my elbows, and they're opening out to the side. All right. Now, grab another toy here. So you can see this one has a lot more tension on it. I really want tension on it, because if I don't have tension on it when I'm holding here, there's not going to be tension all the way out on my fly. So if it's loose and sloppy, it's just going to stay sloppy and you're not going to feel anything. So make sure there's a lot of tension on it. Tension, tension, tension. So it's really hard right here, and then you're kind of slowly opening out to the side and closing. So you're not going to feel it the same way you do in a traditional pec fly where it's really deep in here, but it's going to feel like maybe a shouldery type of a version of a pec fly, and still really awesome and fantastic. If you happen to have a place where you can tie one of these suckers on, then you can do more traditional types of shoulder movements and openings and things. So say I can loop the sucker around on here. This would allow me to do a more traditional type of a pec fly, because I can have my elbows slightly bent, and then I can be bringing it across my chest, right? So bringing it across my chest. And I'm going to feel a lot more in my chest muscle this way than if I was just tucking it behind my armpits. But not all of you guys have a way of tying these things on there. Now you could, right? You have a yoga strap, and you could loop your yoga strap around on. And then you could do some isometric holds with the fly. All right, so I've got it out here, contracting, contracting, contracting. Then maybe I'm gonna try the angle here, contracting, contracting, contracting. Maybe an angle out here. So you are feeling those muscles, and you're doing the same kind of a pec fly motion. So it just gives you another option of how you want to do your pec flies. And I'm showing you guys these things so that way it isn't like you just do this as a one-time thing. You can build these into your routine during the week, and you can mix and match. Mix and match and have fun. Okay, since we got the sucker tied over here, let's show you a couple other fun things you can do with when it's tied off. You can also do that deltoid raise that I was showing you with it tied off here. So I can lift up and across and back down. Up and across and back down. All right, up and across. So another shoulder variety. You can do fun, crazy stuff with your legs, right? So I can pop a leg in the sucker now here. All right, and I want to get it nice and loaded, and then I can bring it across my body, across to the outside. Yeah. And this is working those abductor muscles, your happy abductor muscles, and working some glutes. Say I want to take it to an inside leg exercise. All right, put it on the leg that's closest to it. Get it nice and loaded. Get some tension on it there, and then bring it across the body. Across the body. It is not going to come way out there across the body. This is going to be a much smaller movement because our legs don't naturally just scissor across the other way. So you want to make sure there's a lot of tension on it as far out as you can get that tension. So you're already feeling it in the legs. So right, I'm already feeling the tension there, and now I'm just bringing it across, or at least in and together at the very least. It doesn't have to cross the body. So that's really nice now for your adductor muscles, the muscles on the inside of your legs. You can also take this into working the front of your legs, working your quads. If you have a wall, you can hold onto a wall, or you can just hold and stand. So remember, get it nice and loaded, right? And then I can bring it out in front of me, or I can bring it out in front and knee up. Drive that knee into the air, knee up, knee up. It's a nice, really fantastic quadricep exercise, and it really is neat for knee stabilizers too if you have knee issues. We can easily take this to the back of the leg and be working on hamstrings, right? So get it nice and loaded. If you have good balance, then you can balance and then extend backwards, extend back. If you don't have great balance, you can put your hands on something, right? And still extend back, extend back. These are kind of fun too to work on once you have it in an extended position, to do some pumps. Hold it and pump it there a little bit. Or do little miniature circles, and then you can start to feel the muscles in your butt burn while you do that. So those are fun variations. So many more random things that you can do while it's tied up there. Maybe I'll throw another one in a minute here. Okay, so then let's go to some tricep extensions. Maybe you got one of these little suckers, right? Of course, I grabbed the hardest, most evil band. They do come in different colors, generally black or dark blue, or golds end up being the really hard, difficult ones. Greens and blues and reds are lower on the spectrum there. So you only have a little short nubbin like this. Throw it around behind me, grab the other end of the nubbin there, and then I'm gonna keep my elbow facing straight in front of me, and I'm gonna extend my arm into the air and back down. So breathe out and back in. So extend and back. Now, maybe you don't have a little nubbin, but you've got your yoga strap, right? Same kind of thing. In this case, I might be doing holds. So press, 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 hold, right? Let it out a little bit, press, 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 hold, let it out a little bit, hold, 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 right? Or I could be letting it thread through my hand as I'm extending out, and then thread through my hand. If I'm working that grip strength and working my working some calluses up. So tricep extensions you want to do, make sure you do it on both arms. Now then, so triceps on the back of the arm, we're going to go to biceps on the front of the arm. Bicep curls, a lot of different variations. So say you're sitting in a chair or you're sitting in bed, it can be behind your knees, right? Pretend I'm sitting in a chair, right? So I could be with a small band sitting in my chair and working on my bicep curls, right? Or if I have a very long material, I can do it while I'm standing. So I can have it underneath my feet. You can see this material is too short here. I could just do a one-arm bicep curl if I want, in that case, if I want to do it while standing. So just know that varying your body position or where you put the band, you can use any size band and get a great workout, or any size strap. So say I'm doing this one here. You have variations of a thumb up grip, which would be like a hammer curl, or you can have a palm up grip. So you can vary that on what feels comfortable with what material you have. So maybe I'm going to let this thread through as I'm bringing it up and curling. Now, you don't want your shoulders to start creeping up like this, so sometimes I suggest roll them back, set them down, and then bend at the elbow, bicep curl, right? Breathe out. Or maybe you're doing isometric holds. You're gonna hold it here for, say, 20 seconds. Hold it here for 20 seconds. Hold it here for 20 seconds. So those are all fantastic ways of doing it. If your strap is longer, then you might be able to put it under your feet and actually successfully do a bicep curl, right? Curling them both at the same time. Now, just because your strap is long enough doesn't mean it's a great workout for you. This one's too flimsy and easy for me here right now. So I might want to double this up and just do one arm. So make sure that, again, it's tough enough that you're like, 15, I can't do any more of these. Okay, so then we can add in maybe some rhomboid pull-aparts. These are really awesome for a lot of the aerial moves that we do. Perhaps we'll go back. You got this little guy. I keep neglecting little guy in case this is what you have here. Keep the band out in front of you. Don't pull it close, because biomechanically you have more advantages that way. It really doesn't train the muscle as well. So hold it out in front of you with your elbow slightly bent, and we're going to be pulling apart and back in. This is a very small movement. You're not going to have like this huge movement with this. I just want you to be more thinking of squeeze, and maybe even squeeze and hold, kind of like that isometric contraction. Let it back in. Exhale, inhale. All right, so even if you have the yoga strap or something, I don't want you holding it way out here. I want out in front of you here, and I want you to be working pulling apart. Don't let your shoulders start floating and creeping up. Keep them down and back. Focus on working those rhomboid muscles. All right? So if your material's really simple and easy, and you start here and you can pull it out a little bit further, go for it, but you don't need to open all the way out here. So you know, here, all of that's perfect, and I wouldn't go way further out than that. Not necessary. Okay, so then let's do, so this made me think of, this is tied up over here, or you could hold something in your hand. It doesn't have to be tied up here, but there's a lot of other cool things too. So you have these muscles around your shoulder. They're the rotator cuff muscles, your sits muscles, based on their names and where they're located. And strengthening those is very helpful for getting good at pull-ups and getting good at all of your aerial skills, or your one-arm meat hooks. So here's a nice simple fun one that you can do. So holding it across your body, and we're going to keep the elbow in at our side, and we're going to open up. Keep the elbow at our side and open up. Now we can go just as straight in front, or if we don't have as much tension, we can bring it all the way so that it opens externally, so it opens to the outside. So it also depends on your shoulder and how comfortable that feels, if you're comfortable opening it all the way up, or just straight out in front. So it could just be straight out in front, or it could be that you're opening it and crossing. So that one's a really neat one for the shoulders there. Hi, baby. So we'll leave it at that. That's one magical rotator cuff motion. Let's see. Then how about we do some threading the needle? That one's kind of fun. Grab yoga strap. So working balance, but this is actually also working abdominal muscles too, to try and hold your balance while you're doing it. You're going to hold whatever material you happen to have in front of you. Balance on one foot. You're going to drop the material and pick your foot up and over, thread it over, bring it back. Thread it over, bring it back. You want to try to do this without putting your foot down on the ground if you can. So thread over and back. Now those of you guys who are not very flexible, it may look like this. Your leg is down here. That is perfectly fine. And those of you guys who are more flexible, challenge yourself to lift that band higher and higher and higher up in the air. So think of on this one, aiming for 25 repetitions if you can on each leg. You're gonna notice this interesting effect where like the glute muscles start to burn, and things in your hips that you normally don't use, you feel starting to light up. So it's a really cool exercise. So threading the needle while standing. Okay, let's do, just thinking inspired, another one we can throw in here too. A nice donkey kick. So we could do this actually while it's strapped here, or we could be holding this in our hands. All right, so, hi baby. Put this under my foot. And I can donkey kick or press back. And this is really awesome. It also is working the glutes, the hamstrings, and a lot of those miscellaneous hip muscles that are in there. Now, if you don't have something to tie it to, maybe you're just holding your strap, or you've got it around your wrist, or you're working that grip strength, right? So that way you're resisting against it. Yeah. So that's another really nice fun one there. Okay, how about we do some abdominal stuff? Yay! All right, so so many toys to choose from. Hope you guys can still see me in the screen okay there. Let me, yeah, okay, I think we're good. So let's play around a little bit with the thread the needle on the ground. So the thread the needle on the ground is going to work a lot more abdominals, but it's also going to be using all those muscles around your hips as well. We're going to focus on one leg, same as, extend up, back in. Now notice that I'm not sitting straight up. I'm back at an angle a bit so that I am working my abs. So thread up and down. Thread up and down, right? Up and down and down. Now this one I'd recommend, in fact, with all the ab ones, going for a little bit more volume and going for say 25 repetitions and still repeating multiple sets of those. So I love the thread the needle one. The other one I like is I like to pretend like I'm kayaking. So this is my paddle, my floppy paddle. And I'm leaned back again, my abs are nice and engaged and my pelvis is tucked in so that my booty's not backing out. And I'm imagining that I'm dipping my paddle into the water. So I'm crossing my paddle into the water, crossing my paddle into the water. Now you can hold your arms out wider if you want, and you're going to feel this a little bit differently in your arms and your shoulders, right? So paddling, paddling. And you want to make sure that you're doing nice, consistent breathing. So you should also feel this in your quadriceps muscles and in your hip flexors, right? Because we're holding in this position. So really, really absolutely fantastic. Now, you can also vary this too by maybe going into a nice straddle position with your legs straight, right? And still continuing to row, row, row your boat. All right, so awesome for abs. The last time we played with a strap, I showed you a bicep exercise with it, where you're curling with it. Today, let's actually turn it more into an ab exercise. So, got Mr. Yoga Strap. Got Mr. Yoga Strap here. So you guys can see me okay. You guys are in my sun right now, so that's why I can't see if you can actually see me. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. It's so nice to not being on the deck. I couldn't do it. So the idea here with this is I'm literally holding this just to align my feet, but I don't even necessarily need it. So I'm not really using my arm muscles like we were in the last time when we played with the yoga strap. This time I'm actually kind of in this like C, kind of hollowed C position where I'm half on a butt cheek. I'm not really on my butt and I'm not on my hip. I'm kind of on the side of my butt cheek, and I'm lifting my legs into the air. So lifting the legs into the air. All right, exhale, inhale. Now, I'm using the strap because it kind of helps guide, and those of you guys who don't have enough strength to lift your legs can use the strap in the process here, right? And if you want to add some bicep to it while you're doing it, you can do that as well. But the idea is that it's just a guide. So I don't even need that strap to get my legs to lift. All right? So I want you to do 25 on each side and repeat that for multiple sets. A nice, I like these kind of strap things here. Let's, I'm just having fun jumping around today. How about a nice clamshell? So you're giving your abs a break. Wrap this sucker around here, or, right, you could take your yoga strap and wrap it around. You could tie any of these things that you have and wrap them around. You can loop these multiple times, right, so that you get that tension. So depends on what you got, right, and what you want to use. But if you bind your legs together here, you can do all sorts of ab exercises while doing leg exercises. So if I'm doing, like, say, full sit-up, maybe every time I come up, I want to bring my legs out wide. And now I'm going to be training my legs, right, at the same time that I'm working my abs. And you want to make sure that, like, if you have something that's stretchy, you don't just let your legs come back together. You press out and then you really slowly let them back in. All right, so maybe crunch up, press out. Now you could just do this motion right here, pressing apart, and then these are working your glute and your adductor muscles and a lot of rotating muscles that are deep within the hips. Or you could, if it doesn't feel comfortable, lay on your side. I love these. These are clamshells and they make your booty burn. So I'm going to be keeping my ankles together and I'm going to open my knees. Back down, knees apart, exhale, inhale. And these are fun too, because once you got it like in an open position, you can pump it a little bit and you'll just feel it firing and burning and just feeling ultimately magical. All right. How about, let's see, a Superman. So we want to get some of those erector spinae muscles going too. We can lay on our bellies for this one. I think you guys can still see me okay. Yeah, all right. So I'm on my belly in my Superman. And just like we did on the bed workout, you can start with just lifting your legs or start with just lifting your arms. And if you want to add the band to it, this is kind of fun. So you can hold your band out in front or put your fists like Superman out in front of you. So you're going to lift that chest up like you're Supermaning, and then you're going to press apart. So I'm actually pulling the bands apart while I'm Supermaning. And maybe you're going to count. It's a bit more of an isometric hold feeling. So maybe you're going to count 6 to 20 seconds and come back down. And then back up to your Superman, pull apart. And just make sure that you keep breathing while you're doing that one. Happy Superman. All right. Any other fun, exciting stuff? You know, thinking of, since I didn't throw in, for those of you guys have this little band, throw in a couple more things, or if you want to modify your bands to loop them around. Something that's really fun to do, again, taking us back to our legs there. We can put them at our ankles, or we can put it higher on our knees. So remember those exercises I showed you where we tie it to the wall there? We can do that. Or we can bring it up to our knees here, and these are really fun. You can actually walk around the house like this, right? Step back. So step back in a lunge, skater lunge, right? Jumping jacks. So these are really neat because they're, and you can just walk around the house like this. They're just working your leg muscles everywhere you go. So just wanted to point that out too. Let's see. I think that is plenty of torturous things for you guys today, so I don't want to cripple your bodies. But I hope that maybe you decide to watch this video first and then take a little picture or write down which ones you want to do. Write down your reps and sets so that you set yourself some goals, because there's all sorts of things I mixed and matched in here. Try and pick at least one thing for each muscle group. So something for your shoulders, something for your chest, something for your lats and rhomboids, something for your abs, Superman for your lower back. Then maybe, squats or lunges for your legs, biceps, triceps. So make sure that you pick something for each muscle group in the body. So I hope that you guys have fun experimenting with random toys that you have around the house. And what I'd love you to do is, after you've done some of these moves, I would like you to concoct 4 moves of your own using a strap or using some type of a stretchy band or whatever you might find around the house that you can use and be clever with. So other than the ones I showed you, I still want you to do the ones I showed you, but I want you to give me 4 moves that I did not show you, or variations of maybe moves that I showed you but you're doing a little bit differently. So I want you guys to throw in that creativity, and I want you to be inspired by playing with toys around your house. Okay, just give us a second, and we're going to do some stretching. It's stretching time. All right, so let's start with a nice forward kind of hurdler's lunge. So we've got our knee bent, our back leg nice and straight, and we're going to press up and away so that way we feel the stretch in both our hip flexors and our quadricep muscles. And then you might walk that foot forward a little bit further, get yourself a little bit deeper, press a little further up. I suggest that you hold your stretches for at least 20 seconds. If you want to go for a full minute, you can. If you're doing 20 seconds, then you may repeat that 4 times. Right, and then we're going to make sure we do both legs here ultimately. I'd like you then to go ahead and switch to the other leg if you want. Stretch the other leg and again, press up. After you've done both legs in this case, then we're going to go to a side lunge. So again, you might want to pause this to give yourself 20 seconds to a full minute. I'm trying to save you guys as much data and downloading as possible, since I know most of you guys are not prepared for this right now. So we're going to shift our weight into one leg, and we're going to drop down into the ground. If you can keep your ankle on the ground or your heel on the ground, please do so. What I'd like you to do with this is I want you to over rotate. I want you to turn, and I want you to look away from that leg. So I'm actually turning and crossing over that leg. And then spend a little bit of time dropping straight down onto the leg, and then switch to the other side. So same thing, we're going to over rotate, then lay right on the leg. Right. We're going to pop down onto the ground. We're going to stretch out our gluteus muscles, gluteus maximuses. We're going to take one leg up and over. So you guys can see me. Okay, one leg up and over, and cross it over the ankle. Pigs are pretty happy here. And then other foot is going to come in at our booty. So we're kind of pretzeling ourselves in this position here. and we're going to take our opposite arm and grab and hug across the knee. We're going to twist and look behind us. So it's a spinal twist, but at the same time you should feel it in the glutes down here as well. So twist. You can also play with, if you're rocking, leaning back, or you're rocking down, you're going to notice that you're going to feel it slightly differently. And the pigs are grumbling away. All right. So just make sure that you sit here and breathe 20 seconds to a full minute. Make sure you do it both ways. So remember, ankle goes up and across and over. Then we bring that foot into the other. Opposite arm reaches over and hugs the knee. And then I'm going to twist and look away. So really, really nice feeling. Now something to open up the hips even more is, it's not the lotus, but it's a kind of crossover. So what you might start with first is ankle over knee, ankle over knee. Now, not everybody's ankles over knees will sit this way. You may feel like find that one of them's doing this. That's okay. You can give it a little bit of gentle pressure until you feel that those hips are releasing and that you can put ankle over knee like this. Remember, you always want to stack them the other way too. So stack them one way, then stack them the other way. If you find that you've got the flexibility for this and it feels comfortable, then what I suggest is you're going to stack knee over knee. So I'm going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. And mine are not totally stacking one over the other right now. My metal in my ankle doesn't feel so good there. I'm going to try my best to get knee over knee. And my feet are out to the side, so knee over knee. Now some of you guys will stack much nicer and neater and your feet will just come all the way back here like it's nothing. But the idea is you're trying to stack knee over knee. And remember, you want to switch too. You want to do one leg on top, then the other leg on top. But it's this really neat stretching deep in the socket of the leg that feels absolutely fantastic. All right, so another one that feels really, really nice for those legs is to lean back, cross one leg over the other. This is great for the abs too, right? You can throw in a handful of crunches if you want in this position. I'm going to reach behind the leg and I'm going to start bringing it in towards me. So depending on how far, if I'm keeping this leg straight, I'll probably feel this as a hamstring stretch. And if your hamstring is limiting you to stretching your glutes, you can bend the knee on this leg and hug it and bring it in. And then you're going to be thinking of like your ankle or your shin is coming towards your chin. And that's going to get really nice and deep into your glutes and feel super awesome. Make sure you do both sides. Now if you come out to a nice open position, gotta go to the sun so you guys can keep seeing me. I'm going to take one leg and I'm going to cross it up and over the body, and I'm going to think of placing my foot or my knee into the ground. Then I'm going to work on that fight and getting my arm to stay down on, or shoulder to stay down on the ground as well. So my knee does not go on the ground while my shoulder's over here, but I can at least get my foot down. Some of you guys may be able to completely get your knee down on the ground while staying open like this. So it's a really nice spinal twist. And again, it's working in the hip as well. I'll show you from the other angle. Over and across, work on getting that leg across, then keep that shoulder driven into the ground. And you kind of just gotta lay here and let it open and relax. All right, so give myself some stick figures because I always start throwing out things that I forget things that I wanted to do. Oh, nice one for the chest muscles and the front portion of the deltoids. So you're gonna have your hands behind you. You're then going to walk yourself forward and away. Walk your booty forward and away, and then press your chest up into the air. And it feels absolutely fantastic on the deltoids and on the shoulder, on the chest muscles. Something for the latissimus dorsis. We can get into that butterfly stretch, and we definitely can do our butterfly stretch, so one to throw in there. But in this case, arm is going to just go up and over and reach across, and take that other hand, grab the knee, grab the shin, reach up and over, chest to the sky. You're going to find that it stretches out the lats and it stretches out the abdominal muscles as well. It feels ultra awesome. Hi baby, are you coming to stretch with us? He says yes, he wants to stretch with us. I'm just thinking of lots of glute ones today, so I'm just going to keep throwing them at you. Of course, you can do any variety of stretches you want because you've got tons of examples from all the weeks. So a nice happy pigeon stretch. I'm going to bring my mat over here just because I have metal in my ankle and it doesn't feel the most awesomest when I grind it into the hard floor. So I'm going to cross one leg in front of myself, and you can either do this so that it's straight behind you, or so that it is, so it can either be working on getting it like parallel to your body like this, or you can tuck it under here like this. So experiment with the different positions and how it feels. So maybe I'm going to bring it straight out in front of me. My other leg is straight behind me, and I'm going to just keep pushing back with that leg, so that way I'm dropping my hip into the ground as much as possible. This is really good for working on the splits, particularly I have really tight hip flexors, so this helps open up that leg so that if I'm trying to get down into a split, I'm much more successful. But you'll notice too, when you're sitting down into it, it'll also stretch the glutes as well. And the more that you put your foot parallel or out in front of you, the deeper you're going to feel it in your glutes. So chest pressing up there, upright. It may also feel good to collapse down onto that leg and get a little deeper into the glutes as well. Ah, happy pigeon, happy pigeon. All right. Makes me think of Bob Ross. It's just a bunch of happy trees. Let's see. What else did I want to throw in here? Oh, so a nice balance here of sorts. I like to bend one knee, like make a little angle here so that I have a support. Then I like to place my hand upside down on my ankle or my calf or the arch of my foot, whatever feels good, and then stretch that leg up into the air there. So I'm kind of teetering, I'm kind of balancing here, I'm kind of using my abs to hold myself upright, but really the goal here is that I'm stretching my hamstrings. So wherever your level of comfort and flexibility is, or maybe right, you're holding here for dear life, or it's holding here, wherever it is, so that you can feel that stretch in your hamstrings, that's what we're going for. You guys also played with that Y scale the other day too. Some of you guys were fantastic with that Y scale. So those of you guys who are having struggles with it, then the Y scale on the ground like this while you're grabbing your foot, super fantastic. So nice hamstring stretch. A nice, let's see. Oh, okay. This one's kind of fun. This is a workout that's helping you stretch too at the same time. So you're going to go into your straddle position, and you may spend a little bit of time leaning towards one leg, leaning towards the other leg, leaning towards the center, kind of pancaking yourself down. Again, 20-second holds back and forth in those. And then there's kind of this cool effect that if you add a muscular contraction or activate the muscles after you were just trying to stretch in that area, that it helps like lock in flexibility a little bit. So spend some time stretching, then hands here, and then do some leg lifts. So this is really kind of, it feels very inefficient. You can play with how far out your hands are holding and how easy or difficult it gets for you. But I want you to hold out in front and not behind. So it should be out here somewhere. You're going to then lift your leg into the air. So you're pressing. So this is awesome for your abs as well, but it helps lock in some of those stretching results. So I'm going to lift and hold. Maybe I'm going to count 10, 20 seconds, set it back down, go to my other leg, right? Lift and hold. And then you can do a double straddle with this. And if your muscles start to lock up a little bit, bring your legs back in for a second, shake them out, bring them back out. So I can also hold out in front of myself and do a press into the ground and double both legs, lift them up there and then back down, right? So you want to try and hold them for 10, 20 seconds if you can. If it's just, it goes up and it comes back down, that's okay. But hold, keep breathing, use those abs. And then do one more where you're in a pike position. And again, depending on what feels comfortable to you, vary how far out and challenge yourself to see the difficulty levels of where you're holding. And then do both feet, right? So press into the mat and lift. Now, go back for another round. Maybe do a hamstring stretch. Go back, open up, stretch to the side, down to the center. I'm moving through it rapidly, but I'd like you to do at least 20-second holds in those different positions there. Then, since you were contracting your quads, they would probably love a nice little dedicated stretch. And there's a lot of ways you can stretch the quads, but one of them being laying on your belly and then reaching back for your foot. Hi, baby. And laying on your belly, bringing your foot back behind you. Now, I know this It feels kind of weird, and some of you guys might not be able to even lay flat like this. If you can't lay flat, you can lay on your side like this and bring it back like we've done in previous weeks. And those of you guys who, once you are flat on your belly and can get your foot, you're welcome to bring both feet up, or you can just work on one foot at a time and kind of think of lifting that foot up into the air, pressing your hand into your foot and lift. So that's a nice happy quadricep stretch. Now, since we're down here, might as well stretch out the abdominal muscles. You can do like we did with the, I think it was the couch workout many weeks ago, with our hands down, and we did that little kind of baby cobra where we were pressing our hands down, we're pulling ourselves forward, so we stretch out our abdominal muscles. Or those of you guys who are more flexible, you can press up and then work on getting those hips deep down into the ground there, arching your back. Just make sure you keep breathing. And after I do this, I like to go into a nice like child's pose and get that lower back happy again before I come back up and start moving. So hopefully that gives you a nice 5 to 10 minutes of doing some cool down and doing some stretchy action. In just a second, we're going to do some balance activities. All right, so here's some balancing activities you can work on during the week. And don't just work on it once, work on it lots and lots and lots of times. So this one seems really simple, but it is kind of throws you off kilter. You're going to step one foot behind the other, kind of like a short distance lunge, not a really far away lunge. Maybe there's a shoulder distance apart. Arms are both overhead in the air, and you're going to lean back. You're going to lean back until it kind of feels like your front foot is coming off the ground, and you're going to find a balancing point there. So it's kind of a neat fun one. And you can vary if you want to, challenge yourself and put one leg even further apart, because it's going to be harder for you to arch back before that foot starts coming off the ground. So the lean back balance. One that you see in yoga is a happy tree. So we're going to put our foot up onto either our knee, or if your foot goes higher up, you can put it right up in the thigh there. All right. And we're going to balance on one foot. Now, some suggestions is the softer that you keep your knee of the foot that's on the ground there, the easier it's going to be for you to balance. The bigger and wider you make yourself, the easier it is going to be for you to balance as well. So you can play around with those different variations and try both legs and put yourself into a happy tree. The other thing you can do from your happy tree is to kind of start bringing your leg out to the side of your body. So you can grab underneath your knee and bring your leg out to the side of your body here, or you could do a little hold where you're not grabbing it. And those of you guys who are practicing like your different scales, I don't go up into a full Y scale, but those of you guys who do can do that as well, and play with getting your legs further out and away from your body as a balancing activity. Let's see, we've got some leg swings where we were just playing with the bands and crossing their leg across their body, so our joints should be nice and loose from all that hip opening we did from the stretching too. So balancing on one foot and leg swings. Out to the side, across, out to the side, across. And you can cross behind too. But the idea is that you're working on swinging that leg, and you can throw momentum in it if you want, whatever makes it challenging for you to try and hold your balance. So again, do both legs. You can swing side to side. You can also swing forward and backwards to challenge that balance. Now you want to make it harder? Put your foot on that pillow. Close your eyes. Turn your head while closing your eyes while your foot's on a pillow. So you can make it more and more difficult for yourself. An air lunge. So with our air lunge, we're going to have weight in one leg with a knee bent, and we're going to have the other leg shooting back like you're going to go into a lunge, but it doesn't touch the ground. So it shoots back while your front leg, your front knee bends, and it goes back and come back up. So shoot it back, come back up. Bend the front leg, come back up. You're ideally trying not to touch your foot to the ground as you're shooting that leg back behind you. Another one is going to be foot tap, foot tap. So we start with tap a foot, so opposite arm to opposite foot, and then we shoot that leg back. It doesn't have to come into a lunge. That knee can stay bent this time, but we're going to now reach down with our other hand for the foot. So then back up, cross the body, foot comes back, touch the other foot. Hey, Brucey. So foot, and then back. Foot, and then back. Got the idea? All right. Let's see, what other fun ones did I throw in here? Oh, a skater lunge. So an air skater lunge. We're gonna be crossing our leg behind the back of our body. And same kind of thing like with the air lunge, we're just not gonna touch the ground. We wanna get close, but we don't wanna touch the ground and come back up. So leg crosses behind our body, shoots back, back up. Crosses behind our body and back up. All right, so that's your skater lunge. Your buttons are gonna be feeling awesome too, because it's not just balance, this is resistance training as well. So you're getting extra. Let's see, clapjack, arms over your head. We're going to bend a knee up into our chest, clap down below, and then shoot the leg out in front. Clap, out in front. Clap, out in front. Now you could clap and then squat back. Or you could clap and then curtsy lunge. Clap and then curtsy lunge is kind of like a skater, but instead of shooting my leg back, I'm just kind of bending. Usually the leg is behind you and you kind of lunge or you're curtsying. All right, and so it's like a pretzel-like curtsy. So we could clap and then air curtsy lunge. And the pigs make it extra difficult. Worry about standing on them. All right, then how about, so speaking of that curtsy lunge, maybe you want to take that curtsy lunge, and then you want to bring it to an abdominal kind of like Karate Kid movement. So curtsy lunge, crunch, side crunch, curtsy lunge, whoops, side crunch, curtsy lunge, side crunch. All right. And how about a sumo squat with a leg lift? So I was thinking like sumos because it's like, throw some sand. So you're going to kind of like, like slap the thigh, bring it down, slap the thigh, bring it down, slap the thigh, bring it down. Now you can hold that leg high if you want, then bring it down, slap it down, right? So another happy balancing one. So then how about a retriever? A retriever, we're on our hands and knees on the ground. You guys can still see me there. Hands and knees on the ground. We're gonna lift opposite arm, opposite leg. So if my left leg is going out, left leg's going out, the right arm is going out. I'm gonna hold this position. Now if that's really easy for you, you can do this in a plank position too. So your push-up position. So you're gonna get into your push-up position first. You're gonna lift a leg, then you're gonna lift an arm. All right, so that's a nice hard, evil one to practice. Okay, so that gives you guys some happy warm-up, happy resistance training, happy stretching, and some happy balancing exercises. So I hope that you enjoy the magic. I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun.